What's up, everybody? It's Griffin here. How are you guys doing today? And today we're going to do a little different video after the trip. We're going to talk about and we're going to review our own trip. Uh, the trip in November we took a 3-day trip. Uh, we did one day at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, one day at SeaWorld San Antonio, and one day at Six Flags over Texas in Arlington. We're kind of just going to review on some of the most important points and some of the things that we view need to be improved on, and so on and so forth. We're going to start with Friday. We arrived at San Antonio Fiesta, Texas. It was really gloomy and rainy outside. We walked in and we were really impressed with the way the park was set up, with the Holiday in the Park Reef and all that really cool stuff. So we was pretty impressed about that. Improvement wise, the pictures that we got taken, we had to get them redone because the person who took it just was standing too far away and they came out all blurry and messed up. So we had to go get them redone. The ride operations are really off that day. I'm not bashing the park by no means, because I love this park. I've been going to this park all summer and all year long. So anybody that's been in the channel for a while knows that I love going to Fiesta, Texas. But the ride operations were just really horrible that day. Like, you got Goliath was down most of the day. The Rattler was running all day. Wonder Woman was running most of the day. Poltergeist was down till about 5 o'clock. Then it went down again, and so there was that. The ride operations, and the thing that I think that really got us is the ride capabilities on the kid rides. And this was something that was kind of a deal breaker for us. It just kind of frustrated us to the point we wanted to just leave, because we were really ticked off that the kid couldn't ride some rides. And I'll give an example. We go to Six Flags over Texas and we ride the teacups all day. And he rides the Batwing at Over Texas, which is like the airplane ride that they have at Fiesta, Texas. But if we go to Fiesta, Texas, he can't ride them. So it doesn't really make sense, and it's kind of not really well put together as far as kids go. As far as kid rides go, Over Texas was definitely more of an option for him, and he really had more fun riding rides there than he did at Fiesta, Texas, because he got to ride like 12 or 13 rides in the time we were there, where being there at Fiesta, Texas, he was only able to ride like 5 all day. So, and there wasn't really long lines. It was just that the location of the rides that he was able to ride were at different ends of the park, so we had to walk forever to get to them. This is something that is very unacceptable. You can't have at one park he can ride a ride, but another park he can't. The Six Flags procedure and everything should be lined up together. It should be the same policy and procedure for every single park. It shouldn't be each park varies. Like, he can ride the teacups with an adult, but at this park he can't. It shouldn't be that way. It should be all lined up together, the same procedure for every single park. So that was one of the biggest things for us was that. Fiesta, Texas, the food quality there was really bad. The hot cocoa we got was like lukewarm, and it was very watered down. Like I said, I'm not bashing the park. I'm just stating actual facts. I really hate doing this to this park, because this is one of my favorite parks and one of the most beautiful parks in the entire Six Flags chain. But it's just a really bad day for them. The tree lighting ceremony was very beautiful. It was awesome. The whole street was lit up. They had music playing leading up to it. They did a countdown. They did fireworks with it. I thought the tree lighting ceremony was very well thought out. I thought it was very well put together, and I really enjoyed. The kid enjoyed that. So that was something that I thought really stood out to me. That it was really great. It was beautiful, and then the way the tree lit up afterwards was great. So it was very well thought out, and very good job on them for, doing something unique to that park. Um, as far as the Christmas lights go, the Christmas lights were okay. Christmas lights were okay. There were some parts of the park I kind of felt like needed room for improvement. Um, there were trees in like Candy Cane Lane that could have potentially set off that area a lot more if they had been lit up or had lights on them at all. Um, I'm pretty confident that in the future that Six Flags Fiesta Texas will be adding lights to these areas. It's only the second week since Holiday Inn Park's open, so I'm feeling they probably haven't got everything you know kind of up to par and everything kind of installed into the park. So, but aside from that, the Looney Tune characters were out and about. You were able to take pictures with them. That was a good thing. The shows is something that excelled at Fiesta Texas versus Over Texas. Um, and I'm not really going to get into too much detail about comparing and contrast. We're going to do that in a different video. But I really enjoyed the shows. There was a Looney Tune Christmas show that the kid really loved. He really enjoyed that. We did too as an adult, so it says a lot. Um, so the shows are really, really great, really phenomenal shows. Um, a lot of the areas in the parks were really lit up. The lines on the rides were minimal to no lines. So overall, it was a pretty good day. It was a pretty good day. It was a rough day for the kiddo. We was trying to do extra things to kind of keep him busy. But overall, it was a pretty good day. If I had to rate the park being the worst park ever on a 0, being the best park ever being a 10, I'd probably give it about a 6.5 to a 7. Following day, we went to SeaWorld, San Antonio. We got there, and SeaWorld was already doomed because when we got there, it was pouring down rain almost all day. They can't help that. So they were testing Great White when we got there. They were testing Steel Eel when we got there. It wasn't lightning or anything, so we just assumed that the rides would run. However, the rides did not run, and it continued to rain most of the day. It got colder, the wind picked up, and so they ended up ultimately closing the park 4 hours ahead of schedule. They closed the park at 5 p.m. The food there at SeaWorld, we got this pepperoni covered pretzel. Like I got one, I had the all day dining pass, so I got one and I ate it and shared it with the kid and with Megan. And man, I sat there, that thing was so good, I had to go buy another one with my money. That thing was so great. It was fantastic. Like I'm not one for eating pretzels, but that shit was fire. Like it was great. And we ended up getting 2 of them and eating both of them. There was nothing left. The whale show, always great. The trainer kind of showed mercy on us. We were up front getting video for it, and she saw the baby up there. So when the whale came in to do the big splash, she kind of sent the whale away. We were the only people there, so I think she was kind of doing us a favor. But we had ponchos on. We were already soaking wet anyway, so what's it going to matter, So, but it was cool. The kid really enjoyed himself going to the whale show. I can't really say anything that needs to improve about this park because it wasn't open. We didn't really get to see the nighttime Christmas lights or anything. But what we could tell based on in the daytime of how everything was set up and going to Discovery Point and walking around the park and seeing all the things they had set up, they probably would have looked really, really amazing. But we didn't get an opportunity to see that, so I can't really say one way or the other. But I will say this. We did pay for the whale encounter, $65 to get the one-on-one interactions with a killer whale, which lasts about 7 minutes. Now, in the 7 minutes time, they explain to you a little bit about the whale. The whale does a little waving trick, just like they do in the show. And then after that, you got to feed the whale a fish. Not a handful of fish, but a fish. And then if you wanted to take a picture with the whale, you could. And then that was it. I was very disappointed that that's all there was. Like, I paid $65 for interactions with the kid with the whale, and we sat there for literally 5 minutes listening to you talk most of the time, not really doing anything, not really explaining anything aside from the fact that we got to see the whale up close. It honestly would be no different than you going to an orca viewing in the summertime. Anybody that's ever went, there was an orca viewing where the whales would just be swimming in there, and you could just go down there and take pictures or view the whales if you wanted to. I think you would have a better shot at that. You're paying $65 to pretty much feed the whales. That's what you're pretty much doing, because you can go down there on their own. If the whales swim up to you, then you can take a picture. You can get lucky, but that's what I would kind of rely on. But the whale encounter was very disappointing. It was exciting for the kiddo, but if I had to make the choice again, I wouldn't pay for it again. But for you guys, you should do your own and let it, experience it for yourself, and then kind of make your own judgment call. Don't just say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to do it because Griffin says it's a bad idea." No, I think I want you to make up your own mind, do your own thing, and then you be the judgment. This is just my personal opinion. The third and final day, we went to Six Flags Over Texas. We were an hour late to Six Flags Over Texas because, well, I was tired of driving. So we took forever. And traffic was murder. People coming back from Thanksgiving, going home from Thanksgiving, stuff like that. When we got to the park, the kid was already excited because he knew where we were. We walked in. We felt very welcoming walking into the park. We were met by an ice princess, an elf, and something else. It was like supposed to be like one of the Christmas story people or whatever, Ebenezer Scrooge type of thing. But it was very welcoming when we got into the park. After that, we ended up riding. We rode the carousel first, and then rode a couple of other kid rides with them. We were able to ride Justice Lead, and like I said previously, he rode about 14, 15 rides that day, and there was no questions of height requirements. We chose rides that we knew were going to be the same. The log rides was closed for the day, so that's why we didn't ride it. But we did ride everything else. He rode his favorite ride. He rode the freaking planes, Batwing about 4 or 5 times. He rode the boot 2 or 3 times. So he rode the teacup. So he did everything that he could there, and had lots of fun. Ride-wise, everything was great. It was minimal to no wait in line. They also have the Frosty Snow Hill there at Over Texas. It's exactly what it sounds like, Frosty Snow Hill. We didn't do it this time. We're taking them back next weekend, next Sunday, so that way we can do that, and so that we have more time on our hands to be able to do that, and so we can kind of get some more video footage and make a new video. But as far as rides go, everything was great. As far as rides, kid rides go, I was able to ride everything I wanted to ride for the day. I rode Freeze, Texas Giant, Shockwave. I wasn't able to ride Titan because the wind was so bad on Giant. It was too cold that I didn't really want to go up any higher with Titan. So I was kind of like, nope. But the temperature difference between Over Texas and San Antonio was definitely significant. Where at Fiesta, Texas and San Antonio, he just kind of had to have like long sleeves and a jacket on. Whereas Over Texas, we had to bundle them up, put gloves, and put a hat on them with blankets. So it's just something to be aware of, that the temperature difference, the further north you go, which everyone probably knows, it's going to be considerably colder. Christmas lights. I was actually really impressed with the way that Six Flags Over Texas did their Christmas lights. Anything that could have Christmas lights on it had Christmas lights on it. Pandemonium, the ride, the Gerstlauer ride, had Christmas lights on it. Titan had Christmas lights on it. New Texas Giant did not. Shockwave automatically had lights on it. Batman the Ride had Christmas lights on it. Harley Quinn, it's already lit up. Riddler's Revenge already lit up. Joker already lit up. So a lot of the rides, that even some of the kid rides, had lights on them at nighttime. Not ride lights, Christmas lights. The Christmas tree lighting was not as good as Six Flags Fiesta Texas. but it was considerably good. The one downside I had to say that is when Santa Claus came out and talking, it was pretty obvious that he was not actually talking. He was lip syncing and acting. He didn't say a single word. So good acting on the part, but if any kid with a brain that still believes in Santa Claus is sitting really close to him, he's going to know that Santa Claus isn't talking, because his lips don't move at all. So it's just something to be aware. If you take your kids there and you know Santa Claus is going to come up, just kind of push your kids a little bit, get them a little bit further back so that way they can't see if you haven't told them the truth about Santa Claus. So yeah, but the lighting ceremony was pretty cool. One of the tree of trees was actually missing a tree, so that was pretty funny. Um, but after that, we went around the park looking at different Christmas lights, and the park was lit. I mean, it was lit up. Mexico was probably the most lit up place in the park. It stood out. It was beautiful. The entire park was beautifully set up. Even the area over by Texas Giant and the train station by Texas Giant, by the antique cars and by the boot ride, that place was lit up really good. Like every section of the park that you went to, it was lit up to the gill. Even some of the ride queues were lit up. Um, we didn't ride the antique car, so I can't say one way or the other. We were able to ride the train, and I think it was about 25% of the train ride you saw Christmas lights, or you didn't see Christmas lights on about 25% of the ride. But that's just because of the location it's at, because there's mostly trees there, and it's a train ride, so you're not going to see Christmas lights everywhere you go. Um, Six Flags Fiesta Texas produced snow, whereas Six Flags Over Texas did not. I'm not sure if they're going to implement that in the future. Um, the thing that stood out to me all weekend long, and I think that's something that stood out to all three of us, was the light show at Six Flags Over Texas. It was the one thing that stood out that I think Fiesta Texas that kind of just pushed over the edge, that it was just so cool, because there was like 5 different songs they were playing and the Christmas lights were in sync with the song, and it was really really awesome. And even the kids sat there and liked seeing the flashing lights going with the song. Fiesta Texas tried to mimic something like this with the water fountain, but it's kind of hard to do with the water fountain because you lose about half a beat each time you do it, because it's water compared to Christmas lights. Um, the water fountain thing is cool and it was great. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It was, but the light show just reigned superior here, because it wasn't just you lit up one building. It was an entire area that was lit up, and then they had a Star of Texas that was flashing with it as well. Um, I'll include it in the video so that way you guys can see. I mean, it was great. Like the light show was something that just offset it. Yeah, and if you're walking down towards leaving Pandemonium, heading towards Mini Mine Train or and Runaway Mine Train, there's a Texas flag made out of Christmas lights that hangs overhead. So that was very unique. So if I have to give Six Flags Over Texas a rating, I had to give it a 9. I mean, because it was actually really good. The food too. The food was way better. The hot chocolate wasn't. It actually tasted like hot chocolate. It didn't taste like watered down cocoa. Um, so it was really good. Um, as far as overall environment and employee wise and the environment there, everything felt Christmassy, and it felt like people were in the holiday spirit. The shows there weren't as good as Fiesta Texas, but it was still it was still a really good time. All three of us had more fun Sunday than we had all weekend, period. But like I said, we're going to give Six Flags Over Texas a 9 out of 10. I mean, they did a great job. They did a very great job with all their actors and the way they set everything up. The only reason why it's not getting a 10 is because of the tree lighting ceremony. The tree lighting ceremony is where it really needs to improve. If it improves, and yeah, because we'll be going back there quite a bit before the end of the year. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, man. thank you guys for watching. And if you're not subscribed, man, just hit the subscribe button. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. Like the video because it helps the channel grow. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right.